Something landed in my feed recently and it rattled me for a second. It came from a person in my life I deeply respect. Someone thoughtful, smart, and not the kind of person who tosses around dramatic claims. And that's exactly why it caught my eye. The post said things like, a woman paid into Social Security her whole life and got nothing, that the government stole the money, that Social Security has been secretly renamed a federal benefit payment, and that if we'd invested our taxes ourselves, we'd all be millionaires. It was dramatic, emotional, and it made my stomach tighten. And if it hit me that way, I knew millions of other people were reacting the same way. But before we get into any claims, I want to be clear about something. Social Security does face real challenges. It's an important program, and yes, it needs long-term solutions. But here's the bigger issue, and honestly, the reason I'm doing this episode. Emotional misinformation keeps us from seeing what the real problem actually is. It yanks our attention towards something scary but wrong and away from what's truly going on. And when we're busy fighting the wrong battle, the real one goes unsolved. We can't fix Social Security if we don't understand it. And we definitely can't fix it if we've been misled about what's actually broken. So today, we're going to clear the fog, calmly, slowly, piece by piece, so we can see the real issue underneath the panic. Posts that trigger strong emotions, especially fear or anger, deserve a moment of reflection. Truth check. Before I fact-checked anything, I paid attention to what I was feeling, because when something instantly makes us panic or furious, that's a sign. Not that the post is true, but that our emotional wiring just got hit on purpose. We've talked about this in other episodes. There are people, individuals, political groups, influencers, even foreign actors who understand human psychology very, very well. They know exactly which buttons to press, so we react before we think. And Social Security, that is one of the easiest buttons to push. It's tied to our sense of safety, dignity, and survival. So I paused. And then I moved on to the next step. I want to walk you through how I fact-checked this, slowly and without the swirl of fear. Not so you'll take my word over the post, but so you can see why these claims don't hold up. Let's look at the biggest ones. Claim number 1, Social Security has been renamed a federal benefit payment. This one sounds scary, like something is being quietly stripped away. Here's the truth. Social Security has not been renamed. The program name hasn't changed. What has changed is how banks label federal deposits. The Treasury uses federal benefit payment as a generic banking term for all kinds of federal direct deposits. VA payments, railroad retirements, Social Security, because that's how the automated payment system categorizes them. That's it. No renaming, no secret shift, no hidden agenda. The name Social Security is alive and unchanged. Truth check. Claim number 2, a woman paid in her whole life and got nothing. Now, here's where the post shifts from confusing to emotional. It opens with a heartbreaking story meant to stir grief and anger. And it works because it sounds like something terrible has happened. But the story leaves out something huge. If a worker dies before collecting retirement benefits, their contributions don't vanish. They provide survivor insurance, benefits paid to a spouse, children, or other dependents. And this is the key misunderstanding in the entire post. Social Security is not a personal savings account, it's insurance. Think about homeowners insurance. If your house never burns down, you don't get a refund of every premium you ever paid. Or term life insurance. If you outlive the policy, you don't get a check saying, Here's all your money back. That's not how insurance works. Social Security follows the same principles. You pay into a shared system so that if something happens, disability, early death, longevity, you and your family are protected. If the woman in the post had a spouse, minor children, a disabled adult child, or dependent parents, her Social Security becomes their benefit. Her lifetime of earnings protects them. If she had no eligible survivors, then yes, no one collects. But that doesn't mean money was stolen. It means Social Security is operating exactly like the insurance program it is. Hard to admit, right? Because the story feels so unfair. But getting nothing doesn't mean the government took her money. It means Social Security isn't designed as a personal retirement account. Truth check. Claim number 3, the government stole the money. Okay, let's talk about this calmly. It's true that Congress has for decades borrowed from the Social Security Trust Fund. But here's the part the Post leaves out. They did this legally through treasury bonds, the same investment vehicle used by pension funds, banks, and even other governments. And those bonds must be repaid with interest. That interest has earned Social Security billions over the years. Is the system perfect? No. Does it need long-term adjustments? Yes. But stole the money is simply not what happened. This is why emotional claims need a moment of calm. The truth is usually more complicated and far less dramatic than the internet version. Claim number 4, we would all have over $1 million if we invested privately. This claim has been circulating since at least 2010, and it sticks because it plays on something deeply emotional. The fear that we missed out, that we were cheated, that we could have been financially secure if only someone hadn't taken that chance away. But here's what the claim quietly assumes. 40 uninterrupted years of steady work, no recessions, no market crashes, no layoffs, no illness, no disability, no years spent caregiving, no early death that requires survivor benefits, and interest rates far higher than the real world ever offered consistently. It paints a picture of a perfect, risk-free investing world that has never existed. And even beyond the math, this comparison is pointing us in the wrong direction. Private investing is great, but it serves a different purpose than Social Security. Private investing builds wealth. Social Security prevents poverty. One is optional and personal. The other is a national insurance program protecting 67 million people, widows, widowers, disabled workers, children, and retirees. When we compare Social Security to a fantasy scenario where the stock market only goes up, we're not uncovering the truth. We're distracting ourselves from the real issue. We can't solve the real problem when misinformation convinces us to fight the wrong one. Truth check. Claim number 5, Social Security is going broke. This one spreads like wildfire because it hits the deepest fear of all, that the safety net we've counted on will disappear. It sounds final, like everything collapses tomorrow. And that feeling of hopelessness, that's the whole point. Hopeless people don't demand thoughtful solutions. Hopeless people shut down. But here's the truth. Social Security is not going bankrupt. It is facing a funding shortfall in about a decade. Not because anyone stole anything, but because of demographics. More people retiring, fewer workers paying in. People living longer than the original system anticipated. If Congress does nothing, benefits would drop to around 75 to 80% of what's scheduled. That's serious, absolutely, but it's not gone, and it is not unsolvable. The real danger isn't the shortfall itself. It's when misinformation convinces us that collapse is inevitable, because once we believe something is already dead, We stop participating in the conversation that could save it. When fear takes over, we stop looking for real solutions. Truth check. Now that we've worked through each claim, here's the part I really want us to sit with. Misinformation doesn't just confuse us, it reshapes what we believe is possible. It pushes our attention toward fake problems and away from the real solvable ones, and that has consequences. When people believe Social Security has already collapsed or been renamed or gutted or stolen, they stop engaging. They stop voting on the issue. They stop paying attention to the reforms that actually matter. And that's exactly why posts like the one I saw are written the way they are. Emotional, urgent, dramatic, and easy to share. Here's the part that weighs on me. Misinformation about Social Security doesn't just confuse us. It shapes voting patterns. It affects which policy ideas get traction. It changes how people see their own future. If we believe the system is already dead, we won't be part of the conversations that could strengthen it. But the truth, we are smarter than this. We just need a moment to pause and the curiosity to look deeper, because once you strip away the fear, the real issue becomes clear. Social Security isn't collapsing. It needs adjustments, and those adjustments depend on citizens who understand what's actually true. When I first saw the post, I didn't magically know everything that was wrong with it. I only knew it had red flags, so I checked, I searched, I compared multiple reliable sources. I took my time. That process, slowing down, removing the emotional charge, and letting the facts catch up, is what helped me separate truth from fear. This is something every one of us can learn to do. And if you want a step-by-step walkthrough of the exact process I used here, I linked my companion episode, How to Debunk Viral Myths. It shows you how to verify claims, trace sources, recognize emotional manipulation, and protect yourself in a world where misinformation is becoming more sophisticated every year. Because clarity isn't just nice to have, it's how we aim our energy at the real problem instead of the fake one. So through my window today, posts like this don't just spread misinformation, they spread fear. They hit our emotional wiring before our thinking brain even wakes up. And when that happens, we lose sight of what's actually true and what's actually solvable. But here's the part we can control. We can choose to pause. We can notice the emotional punch before we react. We can ask ourselves, why does this hit so hard? Because that moment, that one breath of awareness is where clarity begins. And clarity is what gives us power again. Do we add to the panic or slow it down? Do we assume the worst or look for real explanation? Do we let fear make our decisions or let understanding guide them? That's our choice. And our choice has consequences, not just for us, but for the conversations we have, the votes we cast, and the solutions we demand. Hard to admit, right? Me too, but being willing to challenge our first reaction, that's how we grow. Truth check. If this resonated, tell me, what's a post that hit you emotionally before you knew whether it was true? And what helped you slow down long enough to look deeper? I would genuinely love to hear. This space isn't about censoring or forcing agreement. It's about pausing, noticing what drives our reactions, and joining the conversation with openness, curiosity, and respect. Different views are welcome. Disrespect is not. If you disagree, explain why. If you have a different angle, share it. Here, our differences are strengths, not weapons. If you'd like help shaping your reply, the 3 Ps in Action Comment Edition is linked in the description. It's the same process I use myself to pause, pinpoint truth, and proceed with purposeful forethought. And remember, sources matter. Everything I relied on is linked below and on my website if you'd like to read more. If you found this reflection helpful, hitting the thumbs up or subscribing helps bring more people into the conversation. Remember, pause, pinpoint truth, proceed with purposeful forethought. Join the conversation. See you next time.